That's just the perfect move to start a stream. You just get that nice little pig squeal, and it's time to go.
It's like a shot of adrenaline.
Exactly. I'm sure Jeff thinks so, at least. But yeah, hey everyone, welcome to ZLS 047. We're here with Kaitlyn in the studio. How are you doing, Kaitlyn?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I really enjoyed our fusion right there.
Oh yes, so good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got Josh in the chat. Hey Josh. Josh is going to be on the stream tomorrow. So he's at C1 with us. So cool. And he says, "Oh hi." So Kaitlyn, the first burning question I want to ask you, and I have no idea what your answer is going to be. So with all of our guests, I'm trying to get them all in my game. So Josh, as you're listening, you can be thinking about this. Which type best describes you? Which type or combination of types best describe you?
Oh, was that for me? I thought it was for Josh. Okay. I think I would identify. What's that?
I'll be asking Josh tomorrow.
Okay. So for me, I think I would identify as a water type.
Nice. So did you pick Squirtle growing up?
No, actually. It's weird. My first Pokemon game was actually I started with Gold and Silver. So I totally missed the first generation.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because every reasonable person starting in Gen 2 played as Feraligatr, right? So. Oh no!
I was young. I was a child. Okay. The child in me wanted Chikorita. Nice.
That was the plant one? Yeah, the Cyndaquil was the fire one.
Yeah. I
thought Feraligatr.
What's that?
Go ahead, sorry. I was just saying, I thought Feraligatr was the only decent one out of the three in that generation.
Yeah. I think they were all great. I feel like with most of the later generations, it's like, oh, obviously, like this is the best one. But something about Gen 2, like they're all very good.
Oh yeah. I tend to disagree there, Kaitlyn. But that's
okay.
I'm trying to remember what else was like cool about Gen 2. That's when the berries started. I think you could play as a girl in that one, right? You can
play as a girl in Crystal. So that was like the third part of that generation, I guess. But they had a night and day time.
Yeah, that's right. And you could only catch the owl at night, right?
Yeah, and the Eevee evolutions were different during the time of day. I remember slumber parties with my friend, and we'd stay up super late just to do all the night stuff in Pokemon. So good.
That's cool. I actually didn't know that. So you could only get Umbreon, the dark version, if you were. Wait, is Umbreon right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What's the psychic version called?
Espeon.
Okay, and that was the same thing that you just did in the daytime. Okay, I actually never knew you got.
Really?
I'm not a Pokemon master. I never caught them all, Kaitlyn.
Yeah, I think it's a little embarrassing. My knowledge about Pokemon is something I try to suppress a little bit because I feel like it's too much.
I feel the same way sometimes, but now we've got this connection. So, if you ever want to talk about Pokemon, you know who to come to now.
For sure.
But yeah, I wanted segue in from that. I wanted to talk about just. I've been super curious about a lot of my guests, how they got into this business, software engineering. So do you want to share some of your story there?
Sure. Yeah. I feel like it's a common story, but it was totally unplanned, right? I had no intention up until 2013, maybe. I knew how to turn a computer on and navigate to Facebook, and that was it, right? So when I was in college, I started out studying education. I wanted to be a history teacher. And then I realized I hated it. I didn't enjoy anything about the curriculum. I didn't enjoy kids. Nothing about it was enjoyable for me. So I was like, okay, I need a way out. And it was almost like an overnight decision. I had a friend convince me to do computer science. without like, I had no background knowledge in any of it. And like the way he was talking about it, he's a developer, like some casino in Nevada or whatever. And he convinced me to try computer science. And he's like, oh yeah, coding's so fun. Look what I do all day. And he sent me like a snippet of code. And I was like, wow, this looks like so much fun. Let's try it.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. Like that first semester when I switched to computer science, I remember Sam talking about doing the comp sci thing during his stream.
Yeah.
And how it just like, it doesn't, I don't know, it didn't make sense. Like there was too much math. I was not enjoying it. I don't even know like what physics is. And so I was just having a bad time all around. And then eventually I found like an information technology equivalent in my university. I went to Penn State.
Cool.
Yeah, and with a focus in software development. And so that's where I learned like about Java and like how to program and not necessarily how to like calculate the weight of something on a lever. And yes, we are. Did he go to Penn State? Oh, I'm gonna have to ask him.
Josh, did you go to Penn State? Cool.
And yeah, so I graduated there. During my time it's really funny. When I was at Penn State, I learned a program in Java, and there was like one web development course in that whole curriculum, and I hated that too. Like,
did they make you do JSP?
No, it was totally unrelated, right? Like this whole curriculum was designed around Java, and then like one class was like, here's JavaScript. And like at the time I was like, I never want to do this. Like I never want to do web development in my life. Like Java forever. And then I graduated and I landed a job at a telecom company. And like first day on the job, I sat there and they were like, hey, we're all learning this new thing called Angular. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what's that about? Like, I thought I was going to do Java work here. And so I kind of just had to like learn Angular on the fly.
Yeah. So when was this? Is this like Angular JS still, or is this Angular 2?
They were migrating from Angular JS to Angular 2.
Okay.
So I was learning Angular 2 at the time. It had just like first come out, I think, because it was in 2016. Like that's when Angular came out, I think.
Yeah, September 2016. I just looked this up for a talk, actually.
Okay, yeah. So Angular had just come out, and then the telecom company was like, yeah, let's do Angular instead of Angular JS. And so I was trying to look into that, and it took a little bit, but I eventually, I landed on this team at the telecom company it was almost like a research and development team, like doing proof of concept of how we can make a really cool app with Angular. And I was like responsible for learning NGRX and then teaching NGRX to like everyone around me. And so it just kind of all like flowed into each other, I guess. Like I never planned to end up here, but here I am.
Yeah. Here you are. Yeah, so it's funny. Josh says I had it memorized not just for a talk. I actually started doing my whole like Angular developer learns React. The first day I did that was on Angular's 4th birthday, and I felt really bad because I had no idea at the time. I was like, let's jab
Happy birthday, Angular.
Happy birthday, Angular. Let me stab you in the back.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that is what that is. But so I'm super curious now because I went through a very similar path. I'm a nerd, Kaitlyn. I really like physics in school. Like that. Wow. And I'm like, I will say this. In school, it felt like they were trying to weed people out of the computer science curriculum with those first classes, because like everything that gets people fired up about computer science is like this boundless like expanse of potential creation that like we didn't even touch on. It was just all like let's talk about theory, and this is what C++ is, and all this other stuff. And it was just like, I don't know. I wish that we had maybe like tried to foster more people who didn't want to be good at math. Because what happened is that towards the end is like people who were good at math stayed with computer science, or who liked math stayed with computer science, and we lost a lot of other people, and I don't know, kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming up through the computer science, like we started with like C, and then we went to C++, and then at a certain point, all of our classes were in Java, and I hated it. Like there's pieces of it that I was like, all right, I guess this is all right, but it definitely felt I didn't know, but it felt like there was something better out there. Like I didn't know what, but I thought there's something better out there. And I got my first job, and it was in Java development, and like we were doing some web development stuff. So we were building like these IVRs, which is like the phone system when you call in and you get like the automated. Yeah. So that was me. I was the person standing in between you and like a real person. But yeah, so we were building those with Java, and then we would also like build these administration portals to like switch toggles and configure it for like the administrators. And we were doing that all in like just basic web development. And yeah, I started out with JSP. That really kind of sucked. So yeah,
I've heard that
here. Yeah, it's so the syntax is actually surprisingly similar to Angular schematics, which gave me a little bit of PTSD there. Okay. Like it was just, I don't know, it's just a little gross. But yeah, for some reason we had some contract where we had to deliver one of these things in Angular. Like we were delivering the source code, and I like jumped on that thing. I was like, Angular sounds super cool. I think this is that thing I thought was out there, and it totally was. Like that was the cool part of that story. So I'm curious if you had a similar experience going from Java to Angular, or if you would go back and you'd stay with Java if you could.
Oh no! At the time, it was definitely like a growing pain. I think because I was so traumatized after that like one web dev class in college, and I was like, I never want to do web development.
Do you remember anything about that class?
No.
I'm super curious. Like we didn't have any like language specific classes. We would just kind of like have algorithms, and that would be in C++, or have some other thing, and that would happen to be in Java or something like that. But
yeah.
But
yeah, no, it was like when I landed at that position at my first job, and they were like, we're doing web development here. I just remember being like, this ain't for me. I got to get out soon. And then didn't get out at all. And I'm happy I didn't, right? Because I can't imagine doing anything other than what I'm doing now. So I'm happy.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely remember at some time ago thinking JavaScript was like somehow beneath me or something like that, like a toy language kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then getting into Angular, I think like one of the reasons I went for Angular and not React was because of TypeScript, and because like this is sophisticated, like the typing system we had at the time.
Oh yeah, actually that may have been it for me too. Yeah. I don't remember because I remember JavaScript just being kind of like, it felt like the Wild West, right? Like there weren't enough, as a Java developer, there weren't enough rules around. And so this TypeScript thing was like, okay, like I can feel this out a little better. So
I still feel that way when I get into like these older JavaScript problems or projects. Freudian slip, I call them problems. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I have a lot of respect for people that were in that space before TypeScript was around, because for me, it's like, how did you must have like held that cognitive load in your head at times instead of having things there, which I don't know. It seems super intimidating to me.
And for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. So
I don't know.
So coming into Angular, like, I don't know. One of the things I loved about it was just like you could code stuff up, and you could instantly, like the empathy was right there. Like, I guess this is not super exclusive to Angular, but like to the web development side of things, or at least the front end web development side, felt like I would just like the bridge of empathy between me and my user felt so small. Whereas if I'm like on a back end, it felt like massive. Like I had an internship at a larger company while I was at college. I felt like this weird cog in this machine that I didn't fully understand, and I didn't really understand how the machine worked or what my purpose in it was. And going from that to like doing the Angular web development, it was like, man, I know the person that's going to be using this. I'm experiencing exactly what they're going to experience, like the experience I'm delivering to them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Do you feel similar?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there was I remember there being some magic when I started like finally understanding how Angular worked and like seeing things happen on pages rather than just like, oh, I printed some data to a console or whatever. Like that's cool, but it's not the experience, right? And so being more involved with like the end state, I think. I don't know. There's like a certain charm to it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Ellie, Lucas. Nice to see you stop by again. So it's interesting too. So you went out and learned NGRX and had the job of teaching it to everyone. That sounds it sounds like at one point kind of intimidating, but at another point it sounds really cool. Like I really love state management stuff. So yeah.
It was definitely intense at the time because I remember being at that, like coming onto this research and development team, and there's this senior architect there, and he's like, we need a way to manage our state and our application. And he's like, we have NGRX and we have NGXS and like some other acronym. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying right now, And so he was like, take 2 months and get really good at one, and then we'll go with that. It's just like, I felt like I was just thrown into it, like without any prompts or without any like, definitive endpoint for that. But yeah, I think it's kind of a miracle, right? Because I feel like being like that point of contact for NGRX at my last job was a really important stepping stone for me in a lot of ways. And now I really love NGRX.
Yeah.
I could talk about it all day.
Oh yeah?
Maybe not as much as some people, but
well, yeah. So far, I've had Brandon, Alex, and Mike on from the NGRX core team. So
I'm not gonna try to like out talk them. So.
I'm curious. So there was this one turning point. Like I had been going through the rounds and kind of like I felt like I had a good understanding about what Redux was and all this stuff. And then I saw Mike's talk from like an NG-Conf from a few years back that was like the good action hygiene. Oh, speaking of which, there's Brandon. Hey, Brandon. What's up, man? So that talk, I was like, wait a second, I'm definitely doing this wrong.
Really? I don't know what talk you're referring to.
The good action hygiene one. So it's like it's kind of getting at this thing of actions as events rather than actions as commands.
Okay, yeah.
And we were like totally on the command side. So.
No, I remember I was like that up until like a few months ago, and I remember Brandon like was reviewing a PR somewhere. It wasn't even my PR; I just like happened across it, and he's like, "We should have unique actions," and I was like, "What should we?" Like I didn't know that, So, yeah.
Well, I really railed against this idea for a while. Like, I think I've come around to seeing Mike's way of explaining it. It's going from like calling them events versus commands, I think is the thing that turned me around. But let's see if Mike shows up here. But
we can say his name 3 times and look in a mirror.
Brandon. Yeah, but I don't know. I was doing all this stuff. Like Mike says, we gotta do good action hygiene. We'll all show him good action hygiene. I had this whole thing with like action creators where you could give it like. It would be the same action essentially, but you'd give it a different type on the object. It is like working around all this stuff, and I was just, yeah. Oh no, I've got to get all my stuff fixed. I'm sorry, Brandon. Let's see. What is this Beetlejuice? Nice. But yeah, so you just recently went from had that event versus command conversion.
Very
how was it for you? Did you have that same visceral reaction? Like, no,
it didn't make sense at first. And at first I was like digging through docs and I was like, this can't be the way things are, but like the docs do say that. So I don't know. It was a little annoying because I had told a bunch of people like, oh yeah, we make like a generic action and then we use it in a million places. And then like a week later I was like, forget what I just said about that. Like,
we actually need a different one for each one of these. Yeah. But well, when I initially got into NGRX, I definitely was thinking like, yes, this will replace, because we were getting into a situation where we had like our services that we're doing. I had this like itch about me that was like, we shouldn't be trying to manage state in our services by ourselves. That seems wrong. Like it seems I've always been like super paranoid about state and how tricky state can be as we go over stuff or as like a project grows or business needs change. But yeah, I saw NGRX and I was like, yes, we are getting rid of all of our services. From now on, we will inject NGRX and only NGRX into all the things. And like we did this in my old team. Like we even had like because we were doing like the voice systems a lot, we had a whole system set up for like an audio package that we made that was just like, it was all set up, so all you had to inject was NGRX into anything, and then you just dispatch some action that was totally command oriented because it's being shipped as part of the package. So it was like play is literally called like play this WAV file or something like that. And like the package was around like managing all the different WAV files we had uploaded, or a user could upload them.
Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I felt as soon as so when we saw the thing from Mike about like it shouldn't be command based, I was like, what? This is so awesome what we did. How could you say this is wrong?
Yeah. No, I definitely had that same reaction.
Yeah. I definitely did go through putting all my forms into the store at one point too. And I don't know. Did you have that? Did you have that too?
Forms isn't like forms?
Yeah. Like I think for a while, this is going to sound a little crazy, but like every keystroke, we were like updating, like dispatching actions and having them go into the store so that, and when you did things at this level of granularity, like you could literally replay everything the person did, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
and freaking out over here. It's actually funny because I actually like went away from this before this, but I think at the same NG comp, like Brandon and Mike were coming on right after this other person that presented all about how you can easily get your forms into your NGRX store, and Brandon and Mike come up and they're like, no, you shouldn't do that. And then like I don't know, it's kind of funny.
But do you remember? I don't know if you recall like the nuances of that, but how did that? Was there like a performance impact with that? Like did things start to get a little sluggish?
Not for us. I mean,
no?
I don't know. So we were just. I think we were just the way we had initially done it is like we were just listening to on changes. And we just dispatch like whatever that value was coming out of on changes, we just dispatch it and say whatever was in the store, just clobber it. So it wasn't that bad. Like I don't remember it. It wasn't because of performance reasons we got rid of it. It was actually because like we were really cluttering the action stream. Like not in a performance way, just in like looking at, okay, what did we do? And we'd see like 50 things of form updated.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly. Or just like a Z and then a ZA and then a ZAC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we probably could have done something like, you can change it so that that value changes will only emit if you like lose focus. I mean, like messages. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That experience was like, okay, there's local state and there's global state. And I think the NGRX folks, they have like the Sherry principle around that.
Yeah.
I forget what it all stands for, but I could look it up. But should we look it up? Let's see.
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm gonna try to guess.
Okay, you guess, and I'll look them up while you do that.
The S is for. I don't know what the S is for. H has to be like very specific. Like there's only so many words that start with H, right?
I think I know what H is. I'll not look it up so we can play this game together, and Brandon can maybe judge us. I think H is for something to do with hydration. Like,
oh,
I don't know.
Maybe we shouldn't.
We should just lead people.
Someone's gonna watch this to try to learn GRX, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, it's just hydration," and maybe
that was not the goal. Okay, let's see if I can find it here. NGRX, where's Sherry? I tried to search Sherry and it didn't come up. Where is?
I think it's on like just the main page of the NGRX docs, maybe.
Is it? I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
Really?
There's a Narwhal logo on the front page now.
Is it really?
Sponsors. Yeah. If you scroll down, it says supported by the community and our sponsors, and there's a big Narwhal there. Nice.
Nice. Sorry. It's on the page. If you click on state and then why use the store.
Why use store? Got it. Here, let me share that real quick here. Share screen. There we go.
I'm feeling so embarrassed with Brandon in the chat.
Why? Because we don't know this.
Just we're sitting.
He doesn't know it either without memorizing it.
Oh, you were right about age.
I was right?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was hydrated. See, we should have kept playing this game. So I thought S was shared, but I didn't want to say it because that sounded too obvious.
Okay.
A is available. What does that mean? It needs to be
I
available.
thought A was actionable. Available.
Well, you were wrong, Kaitlyn.
I guess.
Apparently it's available. So it needs to be available when re-entering routes. Is that like persisting, Brandon? I feel like that A is.
Can we phone a friend?
It should be a P. That needs to be a P for persistent. All right. R is retrieved. That must be retrieved with a side effect.
Okay.
Oh, is this like a union of all these things? Not persistent. He does it. Okay. What's the difference between persistent and available, Brandon? I think we're missing it. Let me make this bigger.
Available immediately. Okay.
Available immediately. Okay. Gotcha.
Impacted. Impacted makes sense.
By actions from other sources. Okay. Or cached.
Mm-hmm.
That is. Brandon, if you watch, just let me know. We'll send you the link. We'll get you in. Why not? Same with you. We'll just keep it via Kaitlyn for now. We're having.
It should be like a game you have on your stream, like guess the acronym.
Yeah. Guess the acronym's the better one, I think. Yeah. Cool. All right, we learned some things today. We learned what Sherry meant. Or behavior subject. No, behavior subjects are a lie. This was like one of my big learning curves coming into RxJS. So Kaitlyn, when you got into NGRX, did you? I actually felt NGRX made it so I didn't need to learn RxJS very much less at all.
Okay.
Do you feel that way or no? Yeah. That's
okay. That's like what the Rx is, right? An NGRX.
Yeah.
No, all right. At least like the basics of RxJS, like understanding what a stream is and understanding like why your effects are doing the things they're doing. Because I feel like you could probably like, work your way through an effect without really understanding what's going on. But then, if things start getting like a little nitty gritty, then all of a sudden you're just dispatching actions and effects when you don't need to be. So I think like just some understanding of at least like the common maps that are used was a big key part, I think, for like really understanding NGRX. I don't know. There was a point where I like understood NGRX, but I didn't really get RxJS. But I think once that RxJS part clicked, like I felt like a new door was opened, right?
Okay. So, that's cool. Yeah. I feel like I've been hoodwinked by RxJS several times throughout my journey.
Really?
Yeah, like I feel like I had it at a certain point, and then I realized, oh, actually, no. There's a whole concept of hot versus cold observability.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So I did a whole talk on that, and then like getting past that, it feels like there's just I felt like I understood very well all the flattening operators, and then I don't know. It's just like every time I feel like I've got this thing nailed down, I feel like I got to go back and like refigure out some stuff. But I feel like I've taught myself how to get better at that just from like the main lesson I've learned is always unit test your RxJS stuff, because it's very possible it's not doing exactly what you think it is. And the marble diagrams and the test scheduler is extremely good at making sure things are doing exactly what you think it's doing.
Yeah. So. I do like marble diagrams was also a thing that I wasn't really familiar with until coming onto Narwhal and working with clients and stuff like that. But now like it makes sense, right? Like I can't imagine testing an effect without a marble diagram.
Yeah,
unless I think like a false dispatch or whatever, but
yeah. But like just having that mental model of the marble diagram and like thinking, okay, how would I set this test up? It definitely helps me think through a lot of the stuff. So yeah, Brandon's linking rxjsfruits.com.
What is it? Is it a game?
Yeah, it's like a game that you can play by writing code, and like I think it's like fruits coming down on a conveyor belt, and like you've got
to like Fruit Ninja. Okay, no, it's not.
I don't think so. I've just seen it a little bit. Like you've got to like subscribe to get the conveyor belt going. It's like building this whole mental model. I haven't really played it that much, but I imagine you like maps things into like bananas sometimes, and other times into apples and stuff like that. So I don't know. Okay. But
this is cute.
Brandon said something really cool, which was like NGRX needs a version of that. So.
Oh, like an NGRX game.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this a little bit, and Brandon, feel free to take these ideas. I don't think I've got time to do it, but like it's something where like you're launching things into space. And space is like your store, and you're like you've got different telescopes looking through different lenses up at the sky to see what's up there. So I don't know. Brandon says he doesn't have much time for the game either. I have no idea what all this would entail. It seems like
make it so.
Yeah, someone make it so. Someone in chat. Someone with time and not as many kids as us. Or me and Brandon. Actually, Kaitlyn, is it inappropriate to ask? Do you have any kids?
Oh no. Yeah. No, I don't have kids. One step at a time.
Oh, Josh is saying he'll do it live.
Let's see it.
Let's see it. We'll do it tomorrow, Josh. So
bring the end result tomorrow during ZLS.
Yeah. You've got 24 hours, Josh. Oh no. No, I'm just kidding. I won't judge you if you don't have it all finished by then. But but yeah. I don't know. This is fun, Kaitlyn. Just talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I know we did say game dev though. I don't know.
Yeah.
This counts, right? Like we're talking about an NGRX game.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, anything you wanted to ask about game dev? I feel like I'm not an authoritative source on this by any means. I feel like I'm just like splashing around, floundering, trying
No,
to.
that's still more than me, right? Because like when I think of game dev, like I feel like a lot of devs, at some point they're like, I want to make a game, and to me that always meant like understanding Unity or understanding some engine or being really good at like C++ math or whatever. And I never really thought of like what would game development look like in technologies that I already know.
Yeah.
And so when I saw you doing a stream and you were doing game dev and TypeScript and like Angular and React, I was like, what? Like, I didn't. Obviously, that's an option, but I hadn't like considered it until that point. So,
yeah. Well, so the game I'm working on is just like the turn-based RPG. I think like web is kind of well suited for that.
Yeah.
Just like it's a game of information, really. Like processing the information and making some like strategic decision based on that information. I think the web's really good at like just displaying that info. So I'm trying to get the game dev part working. That's obviously the stuff I don't know very well. Like just animating sprites around a screen. I feel like I'm super struggling with all that part of the process. But
you mean like specifically with Phaser or just in general?
I think just I think a lot of my problems are with Phaser right now, just not understanding the API very well. I don't want to down talk it because it's like it's an open source project. It's cool. And it's super helpful that someone took the time to do all of this and then took the time to open it up to the whole world. And there's a lot of docs and a lot of examples about everything. But I don't know. I'm having a really hard time like just going through the API and all that stuff. So it's difficult. And so I'm wanting to do everything like reactively too, which I don't know, maybe that's part of my problem. Instead, I'm trying to do everything right instead of just trying to get everything done. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking about that. Like, do I need to just like not be such a perfectionist with my code and just try to get something working? I feel like that's kind of the game dev way. I base that on nothing else but like being semi-active on game dev Twitter and seeing like that, there's sort of an attitude there. Like you just need a little bit more elbow grease kind of deal.
I think I've played enough games in my life to know that there are definitely developers out there who are like, it works, we're good. we're done here.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of the games too, I guess the industry is definitely Brandon says ship it.
Yeah.
Exactly. If it's working, why not? I've definitely had some projects in the past where I was like very proud of the application itself, but embarrassed of the code.
Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like it's a fair thing to do. It's probably if it's a one-off, like if it's a one-off project, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Almost. If it's something that's ongoing, and that's where like I feel like game dev's going with like the premium model and just patches and expansions and all this stuff, you want to make sure you can like keep building on a code base, it seems to me. So I think we'll probably see a shift in the industry to like be more about like dev experience and all that stuff.
Really? So, you mean like the game industry or?
I think so. We'll see. I think there's a lot of problems with the game industry. I mean, I'm totally on the peripheral for sure. But it seems like they're working harder than us on very similar problems as us, but are getting paid a lot less just because the industry is so saturated or with people who want to be game developers. I mean, when I got into computer science, I wanted to be a game developer too. Like that's, I didn't necessarily want to be a front end web developer. I wanted to be a game developer. I think I've talked to a lot of people for who that's the case. But then like you have kids and it's like, do I want to be doing this and working like 80 hours a week? Do I want to work less and get paid more? So I don't know. I chose the second.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. But so I don't know. Getting off to a weird tangent, but yeah, I had actually tried to like build a reactive game engine when I took paternity leave for Sadie when she was getting born. So she's 6 months old now. So I did not have as much time during paternity leave as I thought. So it didn't get very far, but it was kind of fun to just work on the very lower level and just like mess around. I think I had like, by the end, I had like balls bouncing off of like walls and off of like inclined surfaces and stuff like that. No, there was no baby games to it, unfortunately. It was just
babies bouncing off walls.
No, it was just, we don't do that here. But it was fun. It was fun to work at things at that lower level. And like, I'm not like, it's not like I was doing like the C++ stuff and like really getting close to the metal. I was just like doing JavaScript with the canvas element, which, you know, I imagine there's a lot of similarities. Too. I didn't get that reference.
Me neither.
But
over my head.
Maybe something about bouncing babies. I don't know. But yeah, I learned enough from that I definitely didn't want to write my own, like really write my own engine for stuff. Yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if like I end up writing some sort of API completely on top of Phaser that I just use. Like putting something like that API on top that can be like reactive and only like does the things I need it to as an RPG game. Like there's a lot of stuff in Phaser around like controlling a character, like making them jump by pressing spacebar or doing that kind of stuff. Like just because I'm doing an RPG game, I don't really need that. I just need to be able to tell a sprite to move over here and attack, and now go back, and that's it. So that's been my kind of strategy through it all. Is just saying, let's build the API the way I want it, and then see if I can bend Phaser to my will to kind of do it.
So is Phaser the reason you switched back to Angular? I was really I'm gonna be honest. I was really excited to come on this stream and like talk about learning React with you, and then I came onto your stream one day and you were doing Angular again, and I was like, what happened? So I don't know the story behind that.
No, so React was super cool. I really enjoyed learning it. And Brandon and I were talking about this actually on office hours. There's a lot of really cool stuff about React. And it definitely made me think about things a different way than I do in Angular. There's a lot of stuff I was like, kind of hit me completely out of left field. Like I thought all my ArcsJS knowledge would be instantly transferable and it wouldn't even feel, when I code Angular now, I feel like I'm writing ArcsJS more than I'm writing Angular.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I guess you feel the same way. Yeah. So
and then trying to convince other people, like just use ArcsJS. And they're like, no, what if I just put it on like a static value? Anyway.
No, stop that. Stop it. Don't subscribe. Use the async pipe. That's what it's there for. Why would you subscribe when Angular would subscribe for you? But I thought for sure there'd be something just like that in React. I could just do that. And it's not quite. It's like, I feel like React is very much buying into like other like interesting principles that I like, which is like a functional component, which is you call a function and you create a template. You create HTML or virtual DOM. And that's what it is. Brandon, stop giving bad advice.
Can we time out, Brandon?
Yeah. Don't necessarily subscribes. That's definitely bad. I definitely went through that whole learning curve too, though. So if you are, don't feel bad. Just know there's a promised land out there. Oh no,
a literal promised land.
You promise. If you done with that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all. But yeah, what were we talking about?
Angular. I think we were talking about the pains
React.
of going to React.
Yes. So I thought for sure, like, I was doing things right. I had learned ArcsJS, and I just wouldn't need to learn React that much because I knew ArcsJS, and I'd just be able to leverage all of that. But yeah, like so React, it feels like the paradigm is very much around calling the function to create that virtual DOM, and that's like everything is making that piece happen. And React observables just don't fit very well into that paradigm. I feel like. So like Adam, the Narwhal guy, who's actually like focused on React more than Angular, talks about it. Like there's this, you gotta get yourself into this mindset. That's the synchronous flow through the component getting called, and that's what makes everything happen. And I'm just like,
no, I feel that too. Like I've been trying to learn React, and I feel like so many times I've run into this problem of like, why didn't this thing get updated? Well, because like you have to go through this certain sequence, and it's not just, you know, I feel like there's a certain magic to Angular that just kind of, you know, I don't know. You don't have that with React.
I'd be super interested. Now that we're talking about it, like an observable is pretty much a function. That's Ben Lesch's line. We should just do observable components for React. We should figure out a way of making that work for them.
They do have.
I feel like that probably wouldn't work.
There's got to be like an observable React thing, right? There certainly is. There's
some people that have been like sending me stuff about like how you can use like get very similar to like the async pipe in Angular in React, which I think is probably valid. There's probably good ways people have done it. So I've been playing around called React Query. It makes me think, So there's actually talking with Lars on some of the times he was over here. There's like, I think it's called Rex. It's like a framework built around RxJS completely. So everything's like a stream, and it's definitely cool. Thinking about that, I haven't gotten into it as much as I would have liked, but yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff out there. I think we could take our hard-earned RxJS knowledge and like profit. But you know, Angular is great for that too. So it's like, I don't know.
Let's just do Angular forever.
So many good ideas in so little time, I feel like.
Right.
That's the story of my life. But yeah. So yeah, switching to Angular, the catalyst for this was actually working with Phaser. Because of the whole thing where React is going to like call a function every time properties change. I was trying to embed like my Phaser, like Phaser creates an element and attaches itself to it. That's kind of like the way Phaser works. Or you can like give it a target and it'll go attached to that. But because of the way it was being initialized, like I couldn't figure out a good way around this. Every time like something about the properties for the component changed, Phaser would completely reinitialize and make a whole new game canvas underneath the previous one. And it was odd. That was like, I had been thinking, okay, I want to try to get this RPG game out. So like people could maybe just open it up online and play with it a little bit. That's been like the goal. Try to like sprint to getting that out. And I felt like I probably just won't get there as fast if I keep going with React. So that was always kind of in the back of my mind. And then when I hit that Phaser issue where I just really didn't know how to solve it, and I had solved it with Angular in the past, like getting it to work well with Phaser with Angular. I think it actually works really well together. So I should put the game canvas in. Brad did every frame update we're changing it. Every frame update we're running a reducer and putting that in the store. It'll be awesome, greatly performant.
Problems here.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point. I've been also like hacking on an app, like in an attempt to learn React, but I feel like if you're just trying to like, if you're actually trying to make something, trying to learn something on top of that is only gonna make it that much slower. So I think it's justified.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to come back to React. I actually Kenzie Dawes came out with his Epic React course.
I bought it last night.
You did? Nice. Did you get like the whole shebang one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The big boy tier.
The big boy. That's what I call my boys, is big boy. So,
really?
Yeah. Like, how's it going, big boy? Anyways, that's weird. I shouldn't say those things. But I'm definitely thinking about going in for that too. because I definitely want to learn React. I definitely see a lot of cool stuff around it. Like to say some good things about React, components are so easy. It feels like to just make them. Like
Right?
I could totally see myself inlining a component. Like it's
one
not even,
file.
yeah. Like not even one file. You could do it like a few lines. Like
Right?
I think you could definitely have it where you had a component and then you just like inlined a completely other one right inside of it as part of the thing. Like it wouldn't even be a deal. So Elliot says he does quite a bit in React. Hit me up. Yeah, Elliot, we'll get that. We'll make that happen. That'll be cool. I'll reach out to you on Twitter. So that'd be cool. Delete the video after.
throw it out.
Get it out of here. So cool. Oh, so from what you've been doing with React, Kaitlyn, how have you been liking it so far?
It's been good. I think I was talking to Isaac about this, another Narwhalian. I think the thing that like the hardest part for me was trying to figure out like what is the best way to actually do the thing I'm trying to do. Yeah. I feel like React, especially right now, is in place of flux and is moving so fast with like new features and new ways of doing things that like any article you reference, even if it's like 3 months old, like at this point it's, outdated. So.
I felt that way about Angular stuff a lot when I first started. Yeah, because there's the whole question of what should you call it. Yeah. Like people were calling it Angular 2, people were calling it Angular JS. But if you just searched Angular, chances are you got an Angular JS stuff that was telling you the completely opposite thing. So it was a legitimate problem for me when I was starting up. I felt like I couldn't Google very well for things. So
yeah. I remember like I took like a Pluralsight course that was talking about the component class in React, and then I realized like functional components are a thing, and I was like, okay, how did the two differ? And then I was like, okay, props, and now wait, but there's also hooks, and so like just trying to wrap my head around how everything relates to each other, and yeah.
Data binding. Banana in a box. Put that banana in a box. So yeah, it definitely feels like a departure from the stuff I do with Angular, just because Angular feels so much like I'm using RxJS, like more than Angular. I definitely don't feel that way with React. I feel like if I do use RxJS meaningfully in React, it's kind of like I definitely have to unwrap that whole thing myself before really using it. Like I felt like that's kind of what we were doing with the use effect. I feel like that's what, I don't know, I have a hard time conceptualizing how it would look like without that, just because of that function that's getting called every time. So I don't know. That's my thing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely seems like I think one legitimate problem with RxJS is it's super hard and it's a huge learning curve. It seems almost unfair to like throw someone into learning all these things and then on top of that RxJS. And by the way, this is a trip, like So something about React just being more simple. It's like it's almost maybe disarmingly simple is what I found.
Yeah, no, I think I relate to that feeling as well. I remember looking at like some React thing, like as I was typing it, and I was like, okay, so like, what's the best way to do this? It's like, oh, I have to do it manually. Like, there's no just thing to do it for me.
Yeah.
So.
What about the TSX part? Did that throw you at all?
Oh yeah. I started learning JSX, and I was like, okay, this is great. Like, what about TypeScript? And then like I started looking into Webpack stuff, which I don't know. Nobody wants to do that, right? Like I don't want to look at Webpack stuff. And so it took me like way longer than I'm willing to admit to realize that you can just call create React and like tell it to do TypeScript. Like it took me too long to realize that.
Nice.
But once I got to that point, like we're all good now. So
good deal. Yeah, so I was using all the NX stuff to do everything, like the good company man I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just being facetious. I do all my stuff in NX because I really like NX, and that's the reason why I'm at Narwhal, is because I like it so much. But yeah, it's not the other way around. We tell Webpack to be quiet and do its job. That's right. That's right.
We copy someone else's Webpack file and then just turn a blind eye.
Yeah. Just get Jason to write some stuff for us. That's the way it works. But yeah, like, man, it definitely was a trip for me. Like, I felt like this a little version of like helplessness almost for a little bit at the start, because I'm like, oh man, where's my ng if? Where's my like ng containers and ng content and all this stuff that made templating so nice? And like, so it was definitely a huge friction point at the start. But then as I got into it, I was like, oh, this is kind of nice too. Like, instead of using ng4, it's kind of nice to just map an array to some like little piece of HTML.
Yeah.
And that feels really cool too, actually. So I don't know. I'm definitely was warming up to it as things went along. And like, instead of ngIf, just putting like an if statement in there with or a
null. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that.
What I was trying to think, it definitely felt like there was like just understanding, okay, there has to be one parent component for every little chunk. Felt odd. I don't know if so that, and like also when you map through stuff, whenever you did any kind of looping, you had to like provide a key to the element. And I was like, why is React not doing this for me? Because all I do is I usually put, because you can always put a second parameter onto the map, which is the index. I just was like, that's the key.
Yeah.
There you go. Why doesn't React do that for us? I don't know.
I can't answer these questions.
Well, when we get through Kenzie Dodd's Epic React.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up stream, like before and after Kenzie Dodd's Epic React.
Yeah. Nice. Well, how far are you in that right now? Have you?
I bought it and I watched the intro. That's
okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to shame you.
No.
No shame at all. No shame at all. But yeah, I'm super interested. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'll hang off a little bit, and you let me know if it's. Nicole's here.
Nicole.
We need to do like a book club.
Yes, get it. Oh, we should. We should all like learn Epic React together.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Nicole. We're having a good time here, and even better now that you're here. So it's awesome.
Yes.
React code party. Oh no. Angular's cool too, guys. I promise.
Aw, we love Angular.
We love it. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else? I'm trying to think. We're coming out towards the end of our time. What I usually like to ask Kaitlyn when we're running out of time and everyone's getting a little bit panicked is if you had one thing that you could tell everyone right now that would change their life in 30 seconds, what would it be?
That's a lot of pressure. Sorry. You said in order to avoid panic, you ask people that?
No. As the panic's setting in, like the little social anxiety, trying to let's test our mettle here. What's something we can tell our audience to change their lives here? Nicole's been through this before.
Has she really? Oh man, I'm gonna have to watch that to see what she says. I don't know what to say to that.
She came up with a really good answer.
Did she really?
It was something. Okay. If I tell you, you can't use it.
Okay, no. Is it related to should it be related to development or just like life in general?
It could be anything.
Okay.
I've ruined it for Josh. He's gonna.
Oh no. Oh, you have time to think about it. That's not fair. You have to come up with a different question for Josh. Okay. All right. Here's my message to the world. Make time for yourself. Take a few minutes every day to just like take a deep breath, look in the mirror, or don't. I don't like mirrors. And just like have a moment, if it's like in between meetings or whatever, that's it. That's my message.
That's awesome, Kaitlyn. See, I knew you could do it. You had a really great message. That was actually surprisingly close to what Nicole said.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think that's where everyone goes. It's definitely a huge message. Like self-care is huge. Making sure you're taking care of yourself. Because if you don't, who else will? And
Right.
like we're all humans here. We try to convince ourselves that we're just like code writing monsters or code writing machines, but
I'm not.
Yeah. Me neither. We're humans. We're humans under it all. We need love and acceptance, especially from ourselves.
Yes.
So cool. Thank you so much, Kaitlyn, for coming by. And I'll have to get you on the show again. Yeah, we've got to do the epic react. I've got to have you back on when I create your water type character in the RPG game.
Yes.
And I'll consult you for like names and stuff like that too. So
cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to doing an epic react with you and Nicole and whoever else wants to do it with us. So,
yes. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach. This is fun.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you. You're blessing me with your time.
Thank you.
The honor is all mine.
Yes.
All right. Let's watch Jeff Cross's Song and Pig again. So see y'all.
Bye.
Catch y'all tomorrow.